We are looking live at Lincoln City this morning at 7 a.m. as a tsunami advisory remains in effect for parts of the Oregon, Washington, and California coastlines. This after an 8.8 magnitude earthquake in Russia's Far East region yesterday afternoon. It is among the 4 strongest earthquakes recorded this century. There are still advisories in place for the coasts of Russia, Japan, Alaska, Hawaii, and other areas. We are tracking the latest updates for you this morning on AM Extra. Thanks for joining us. It is Wednesday, July 30th. I'm Emily Burris.
And I'm Travis Tyke. Our photographer shot this video that is about to be on your screen right there in Lincoln City last night. The waves have not had any substantial impacts here as of this point this morning. However, Oregon Emergency Management is warning people to stay off the beach during this tsunami advisory. It could be dangerous even if the waves are not that big.
It doesn't take a tsunami for the ocean to be dangerous. You know, we're all taught not to turn your back on the ocean. So there could be a wave that comes in and takes them out. And a tsunami is not like the normal types of waves that we see on the beach, you know, the pretty rolling waves that we see every day. It's literally the ocean moving.
The tsunami could also amplify sneaker waves, so officials say you should never turn your back on the water because the ocean is unpredictable.
Our team is staying on top of the situation. We have team coverage with senior meteorologist Kelly Bayern here with Portland's most accurate forecast. But first, we want to begin with James Shippey in the Alert Center. James, you've been looking at some of the impacts we're seeing all around the Pacific. What's the latest this morning?
That's right. This morning, officials say it's now safe for people to return home in Hawaii, but that's a stark contrast to the panic just hours ago as quakes, the fear of that just rippled across the islands. Now, gridlock in Waikiki, as you can see on your screen, people scrambling to evacuate after a massive quake off Russia, triggering those tsunami warnings in Hawaii and advisories here on the West Coast. Now, in Japan, for instance, waves over a foot high, hitting over a dozen areas, forcing people to higher ground. Meanwhile, China's lifted its tsunami warning for parts of the country, and in Far East Russia, warnings are being canceled, but officials say some risks continue to remain. But Emily and Travis, just as coming in, Chile's National Emergency Service says it's evacuating hundreds of people from the coastal areas of most of Chile's coastline, which is under a red alert. That's considered their highest warning, so I'm going to be keeping an eye out on that right now. That news is just coming into the newsroom.
Wow, and that's wild to see some of these impacts are still, potentially playing out in other parts of the globe.
Yeah, truly being felt across the world here. Let's check in back here at home. We have senior meteorologist Kelly Bayern here taking a look at Seaside. Still calm, but as we mentioned, you do need to be careful out on the beach this morning.
Yeah, you do. Really the best case scenario here for the Oregon coastline. Same for much of Washington, too. I do think some of the highest waves that have been observed in this event have been for the northern coastline of California. But here's just a view right now of Seaside. This is kind of what we're seeing here. Again, these smaller waves. Now, it is still smart to treat these waves like sneaker waves. Again, we still have that tsunami advisory in place for the Oregon coastline, and one of these waves could sneak up on you. So just use extra caution out there. I have been tracking buoys. They have wave height data, and some of these buoys just offshore from Tillamook and Newport reported significant waves around 2.5 to about 3.25 feet high. Again, that not very deadly, but again, we did see some small impacts from that, from those waves from the earthquake and the tsunami advisory. So again, the advisory in place until further notice. We could still see waves maybe up to about a foot or so here around the Oregon coastline. Again, not very significant, but still a cause for concern. So just use extra caution out there on the sand. Stay far back from that water. And again, don't turn your backs on it either. And we'll keep you updated on those tsunami advisories. If that expires later this morning here, we'll be on top of it.
Okay, Kelly, thank you.